Okay. So yeah. So I think I did sort of from the previous video. We're now going to be doing the edit. So I think the issue that I was encountering over here was in the create. So the previous one actually had a create students, even though the controller name. So the C to see the controller name. This is the controller name. It's student, and then controller is just added. So my one had students. So here it was indicating students. So now when we run it, just to quickly ensure that we're on the same page. So if you've been following the tutorial, you just need to remove the letter S on the previous one. So I did test to check whether it's adding or not. So let us add auto Charlie, and then you just say auto@gmail.com, and they're doing accounting, and we create. So we've added successfully added order there as a record, and they should also be appearing in our database. So now I will close that, and then we'll go back and try and create an edit. So because the edit also requires a method that allows us to have a view. So you select the edit button, and then it displays whatever value that was added, sorry, that we want to edit. So we actually want to create that as well. So what you do is to say public action result, you say edit, and what we want to edit is, we actually want to get an int, and then we also want to get the ID of whatever we want to edit, the student ID. But now before we get that, we actually want to check is the ID equals a null, and if it is equal to null, then we should return like just an error to say HTTP not found. Then what we should do is we should actually sort of do a find to say find a student for me with this specific ID. So what we do is to say, or find whatever selected student with this ID. So what we do is to create a student class, and then you can just call it student equals db dot students dot find, and whatever I want to find is the ID. Okay. Then now what we also do is, because when we're selecting from that specific ID, we actually want to also load the combo box with the selected students. So we actually pass that through a view back as well. Okay, we pass that through a view back dot course ID equals a new select list. So what you do is you go into the course table, db.courses dot to list, and then we say in that courses, that list of courses, what we want is we want a course ID, and we also want a course name, that was selected over there. And then we actually want to say, and of that, we actually want the student dot course ID that we actually selected. Okay, so the reason why we're having this method is we're saying we want to load our combo box for our edit view with the student ID, with the course details of the student that we selected. Okay, so if the student was doing accounting, when we load this combo box, we actually want to load it with accounting that was selected. If you notice over this one, we're just loading it with all the courses, but this one's a bit different. And then what you do is to say return, you want to return a view, and the view should have that student and not all the students. Okay, so this is now our edit method. Okay. Then over here, we also want to have our public action result. Our method that is now going to update the student. Because this method over here is just for the view, for us to create a view or a design that's going to allow us to be able to implement the edit. So now over here, we actually say we want to edit a student. And then when we edit our student, what we do is to say, so when we edit our student is, so I'm not sure if we actually want to check whether, the thing is modified, and if not, so we can actually go through or use this route and say if the model state dot is, so I think if you might notice on the create one, I actually remove the model state checks because I was just checking whether it's not the one that's creating until I actually found that it's not the one. So we actually want to say student dot state equals entity state dot modified. So what are you doing here? We're actually just checking, we want to modify, and then you say db dot save changes, and we actually want to return, if this is done, we want to return, redirect to action, and the action that we want to redirect to is the index. Okay. Then over here as well. So after the update, we also we actually want to reload our combo box. So I'll just copy that and then try and reload our combo box and return a view, and the view again is our student view, and then we're done. So that's if it doesn't, if this doesn't fire up and go back there, this is what's going to happen. Okay, and then also this is an HTTP post, and we might also want to, so this is, it's an HTTP post method. And then now what we need to do is to say, when I add a view for editing, remember we add a view on the one for the view, and then we say there's an edit view, and it's an edit view, and we're using student. Then over here that stays the same, and then we just create our edit view. Okay, so still, because this, we actually need to say update. We need to ensure that these so this is the action name, and then the controller name is student, so we shouldn't make the same mistake. And then this is also a form method dot post. Okay, then what do we need? Okay, and then I think also over here, when it comes to the combo box, same thing. We need to say we are loading our course, select course, And then let me see if it's necessary for us to have the HTTP attributes. Okay, no, I don't think so. What else are we missing? Okay, maybe let's try and test. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, so it's assuming that it's starting that way. Okay, so let's take, Order Jolly, they're doing accounting. If we click on edit, so it's bringing, the details of order. Then it's saying they're already doing accounting. Then we actually want to change from accounting and allow them to do IT and save. So they're doing information technology. So we are able to successfully change or to make updates to our details. So if we click on this one, then we say that this one's going to change into accounting Andile. And then when you click on save, now Andile does accounting. So we are able to at least do or make changes to our student. So now I think we can stop this part of the video. So we're done with the update. So we've done the insert, we've done the select or the display, we've done the update. The only thing that's missing now is for us to do the delete, and then our app should be ready. Okay, thank you.